right? So first of all, this course is designed for whom? That we need to talk first of all. This course is designed for no problem, no problem, Poonam. So see here, our targeted audience is DevOps engineers, cloud architect, cloud administrators, right? Anybody who wants to learn Docker and Kubernetes and want to grow in DevOps, so you can join this course, right? A bit about me. My name is Ansari, and I'm certified Kubernetes administrator. Currently, I'm working in one MNC, senior DevOps engineer, and a part-time freelancer as well. I'm trainer not only in Docker Kubernetes, but I'm trainer for DevOps and Linux administration as well. Okay, this course needs few of the prerequisites that you should know already. Basics of Linux, okay, just to operate um, your operating system, to log in it, to do SSH in it, or how to manage files through VI editor and all. If you don't know, that we'll be covering, right? Basic of any of the cloud, uh, Azure or GCP or AWS. If you know YAML file, that is well and good. If you don't know about YAML file writing, we will be just discussing about this before starting Kubernetes. If you wanted to set up 100% free lab on your laptop, then you should know about VirtualBox. If you don't know, then we will be helping you out to do that, right? Let's discuss about the content that we will be starting with. First of all, we're starting with Docker, right? What exactly Docker is, why we need Docker, what it is doing in IT industry, this Docker software, and what all alternates we are having of Docker, right? How Docker works, Docker architecture, virtualization versus containerization, how exactly Docker is different from virtualization, what exactly containerization is. We're talking about, internal component of Docker like UFS, Union File System, right? And namespace, C group, and all those things should be covered there, right? What type of volumes we are having available in Docker just to persist our data. Generally what happens is if you are creating Docker container and your container is having some data in it, and what happens is your container got deleted somehow or it got crashed. So your data will be gone. You will never be going to recover that data. So how to persist data inside containers, that will be learning here. Docker images. This is something very, very important topic. It is just talking about how to containerize your application and how to write Docker file, basically. How we can convert existing running container to image, right? How we can convert our images to files so that we can share it with some of our team members, correct? What all pre-built solutions are available for us? Custom Docker images where we can secure our Docker images by running it with non-root user, right? Generally, whenever you are creating Docker images, so what happens is those images will be running with root privileges. How to reduce privileges, how to make them non-root user Docker images, correct? And how we can make sure that our application is running inside container with that particular non-root user. That we will be covering. And yeah, the same thing, right? Convert Docker image to file and file to back in its image format. Access application outside of the server and within the server. Whenever we are creating containers, so what happens is we want to communicate with our container, another containers. Let's say our front end container want to communicate to back end container. How this communication will be happening, right? Container to container communication. If I want to access my application outside of the server, how we can do that? That will cover. And most important part, resource allocation to the container. See, we cannot hardly define this much of resources is totally allocated to the container, but we can allocate hard limit of container. Let's say My container is resource hungry. Generally what happens is whenever we are creating container, so your container will be it will be getting complete resource access of the host machine. Which if my host machine is having 4 GB RAM, 100% 4 GB can be accessed by single container, and this can cause your machine, complete host machine, down. How we can deal with such scenarios where we can limit, like my container should not exceed memory usage of 500 MB or 1 CPU or something like that. We can limit the resources, right? And we are having Docker Swarm as well with us. Here we'll be talking about Docker Swarm. Why we are talking about Docker Swarm? Because before moving to Kubernetes, I want to talk about Docker Swarm here, right? Like what exactly Docker Swarm is, how it is orchestrating the container. Orchestration in the sense, like how it is managing your containers while you are having tons of replica of your application running in your Swarm cluster, right? We'll be understanding what exactly clusters are, how these cluster works, right? Those things we will be learning here. How to form Docker Swarm cluster, how we can promote the nodes, how we can demote them, right? Those things. Deployment in Docker Swarm with replicas, and what all Docker Swarm services we are having, like Docker service, Docker Swarm service, and we are having stack here, right? And volumes, again persisting the volumes in Docker Swarm while we're having multiple replicas of our same application running in clusters. How we can manage those things, how we will be using NFS volume to manage. So we'll be talking about NFS volume, how to install NFS server, how to configure it within your Swarm cluster, right? How to take the backup of Swarm cluster, correct? Docker Compose will be discussed above in Docker section. It should be how it came here. Docker stack, that I just told you, right? So these things, Docker Swarm thing we will be covering, and after that, we'll be seeing what exactly differences, pros and cons. Docker Swarm is having pros and cons. Kubernetes is having. When we should go with Docker Swarm, when we should go with Kubernetes, which one or which orchestrator we should choose. Obviously, we will be choosing Kubernetes only. The reason behind it is like it is having more feature and functionality as compared to Docker. Uh, a small or a major, we can say that major drawback that Docker Swarm is having, it doesn't have auto scaling HPA in it. Like if you want to auto scale your containers, this feature is not available in Docker Swarm, and this feature is available in Kubernetes. So let's say you are having 10 containers running in Swarm, and suddenly you start getting more requests or traffic on your particular application. Your application will not be having power to create few more containers. It cannot automatically scale it. You have to log in the system and you'll have to do it manually in Docker Swarm. Kubernetes says that you no need to bother. I'm having power to scale your application. Kubernetes will be scaling your containers as per requirement. And once CPU threshold is going down, it will be again started deleting additionally created containers for you, right? Now let's talk about content of Kubernetes. What exactly these contents are, right? That we are going through. So first of all, guys, this content will really help you out to achieve your certificate. 90% content is covered here. 10% might vary because of the updation of content, and even that can cover by yourself. You don't need to go here and there. So first of all, a core content of Kubernetes. What exactly core content we are having here, and Kubernetes cluster architecture will be talking about. Cluster components will be talking, right? These are main component that you will be dealing with in your day-to-day task in your job, right? Pod, replication controller, replica set, deployment, daemon set, stateful set. Stateful set is not mentioned here. So stateful set also is a part of our content. And health check of your application. Let's say my container, my pod is having few container in it. I want to check my containers health, and my containers are good. Now it comes to check my application running inside container. I want to check whether it is running or not. this kind of health check we can do that. If those containers are not running properly, Kubernetes will be recreating those containers, right? Container resource allocation, again the same thing that we just discussed on the Docker section. Like if my container is resource hungry, so how much resources it can be access, or it can be having access of those resources like 1 GB RAM or 1 CPU, something like that. We can configure. It cannot be accessed more than defined resources at the time. Yes, this is the very important thing: installation and configuration of your cluster. So guys, I removed this COPS and VirtualBox. Instead of this, we will be talking about EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Service, that is provided by Amazon Cloud, right? It's provided by your AWS Cloud, EKS. We'll be talking about how to create EKS cluster, how to manage this. If I want to add more nodes in my cluster, if I want to remove few of the worker node, how we can do that, right? What all workloads we are having, those things we'll be talking about here. Installation of KubeADM, kubectl, kubelet, no need to do anything. If you want to create cluster on VirtualBox, then we'll be discussing about this. This is the optional thing, right? Scheduling. This is complete chapter we are having here about scheduling. What exactly this scheduling means. Let's say I want to create pod in few of the one of the defined node. Okay, selected node. I want to do that. So this is called manual scheduling. We will be doing that. Based on the node labels, I want to schedule my pods, taint and toleration, and affinity, anti-affinity. My pod should not go and get deployed in such kind of node. Right? So this thing will be covered in this section called scheduling. Application lifecycle. How to create deployment, how to update the deployment, how to do roll it back, right? Manually and automatically, and self-healing. What are features that we can add into this deployment, our application lifecycle? We will be talking about those things. And yes, what storage is here, right? I was thinking it is not there. We will be talking about storage as well, right? How to create a dynamic volume provisioning. Basically, what type of volume provisioning we are having: static provisioning and dynamic provisioning. We'll be discussing these things in very detail, right? And cluster maintenance, how to take backup of cluster, how to restore it, how to drain the node, right? Update your existing Kubernetes version available in cluster. Those things will be covered here. A role-based access using TLS certificate. Here it should be, a role-based access using EKS cluster. Using EKS, let's say I'm having 10 team members in my I'm having 10 team members in my team, and I want to allow them some of the access of my cluster based on their job role. So how to implement those things we'll be talking about. Role binding, cluster role, and cluster role binding. Those things also will be covered here. And networking part. When it comes to the networking part, we'll be talking about what type of CNI we are having, how to implement network rule, service networking, container to container communication, pod to pod communication, right? And how we are getting FQD and fully qualified domain name of the services, right? Ingress controller, if I want to route traffic based on domain names, how to do that, we will be just covering here. Let's say I want to, my application is ansari.com, so how we will be accessing it from outside to your cluster, that thing will be covered here, right? In ingress controller. Most important part these days, everybody using Helm. So we will be discussing about Helm chart. We'll be learning how we can convert our existing deployment into the chart, how we can host them in GitHub. We can create a Helm repository in GitHub, and how to use that Helm repository. Basically, Helm is nothing but it's kind of package manager where your Kubernetes deployment and it's all the YAML file we will be combining in package, and we will be installing our packages in our Kubernetes cluster by using Helm. We can update, we can roll back, a lot of things we can do with the Helm, right? Those things we'll be covering here. Most importantly, we are having these days, another containerization tool called Podman. Podman is the product of Red Hat. It will be helping you to create Docker containers, and Builda will be helping you to build Docker images. these are like, newcomers. Just they came in the market and people started using it. Many MNCs are using these two tools these days. How evolution happened, like, previously we used to have traditional application deployment. We used to have one hardware and we used to install operating system and that, and we used to make live servers in our on-prem servers, right? Then virtualization came. What exactly virtualization is? Then containerization came, right? Once containerization we are having here, how we can create multiple containers, how can manage the container. But again, we were having few of the drawbacks with the container. We cannot achieve highly availability here with alone Docker. We need one orchestration tool like Kubernetes and Swarm. So this is how evolution happened, and we'll be discussing about this in very detail once we are continuing the session. What else to discuss here? That is it. That is it, guys. And this is all about course content. If you guys are having any question queries, you can ask me here itself regarding this course. Yeah, guys. Anybody is having question queries, so please go ahead. Please ask me. Nobody's having any question queries, guys? Yeah.
So how many days is this course?
It is for 40 hours. 1 hour per day we'll be doing that. Sometimes it can vary 35 hours or 40 hours. As per my availability, it can increase to 40. We'll be trying to complete in 35 hours, 35 days, because sometimes I am in meeting somewhere outside, or meeting is not working, internet is not. This scenarios is there, right?
Timing? What about the timings? Daily, is it daily or
Daily, daily.
weekly basis?
No, no, no. It is
Weekends
daily.
also.
No, it is daily only. Timing is evening batch. This is evening batch basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And are you training for the certification stuff, or
Yeah.
how it is?
So I'll tell you. Yeah, I'll tell you. This course is gonna help you to achieve any of these two certificate. You can go with it after completion of this CNCF. We are having 4 certificates in Kubernetes. Basically, KCNA. This is like your MCQ, multi-choice question will be there, and you will be just choosing the answer, and then exam will be completed. It's quite easy, simple one. But most of the companies, they don't prefer this KCNA, Cloud Kubernetes and Cloud Native Associate. Why they are not preferring? Because they are having these two another certified people. CKAD, if your job is just to deploy application in Kubernetes and manage it, it is not, its name is like, certified Kubernetes application developer word is added here, but you no need to learn any development, any Java and all. Just you need to know how you can manage your application inside Kubernetes. It is all about those things only. And if you are from admin background, so this certificate is for you, called CKA, Certified Kubernetes Administrator. This certificate will help you. So basically, like here you will be, let's click on that, and you'll be getting to know what exactly things we will be having here. The course content, right? See, cluster, cluster architecture, installation, configuration, workload scheduling, service networking, storage, and troubleshooting. These things will be there. Weightage means like, this much of percent of questions will be asked in your examination, and this exam is 100% practical exam. There is no MCQs. They will be giving you question like, one deployment is running and this deployment is having this error. Troubleshoot that one and write what was the issue in somewhere text file. You'll have to create in Linux VMs. So this is for administrator if you are dealing with most of the time application side. So this certificate CKAD will help you. And see that again: application design build, application deployment, application observability, maintenance, application environment configuration and security, service and networking. This will be like, easy one. This will be easy as compared to CKA, and this is the main differences. And this is the major certificate, which is certified Kubernetes security specialist. We'll not be talking about this any of this content in our course content. And if you are just going through with our content, you will be passing these exams. See, these 3 exams you can prepare for: KCNA, CKAD, and CK. CKAD is 100% covered, and CK is 90%, 95% it is covered. 5 to 10% vary, and it will vary because of, like, updation of the content, right? So that is not a big deal for you to cover those things by yourself. If you need help, so I will be there to help you out to find it out. I'll be giving you some of the tricks that how you can pass this exam, right? And we are having phone support as well. Let's say you are practicing and you are failing somewhere, so you can drop me message on WhatsApp. I will be replying on WhatsApp. I'll be helping you to troubleshoot errors related to our course content. Got it, guys?
Okay.
Yeah. And if this exam will cost you around 395 something. Yes, 395 USD. If you're planning to go for examination, what can I do is I can give you coupon and vouchers. 20, sometimes 20% off, sometimes 30% off, sometimes 50%. It depends, and we will not be charging anything for that. Just totally free. If I'm having voucher, this is the condition. If I'm having, definitely I'm gonna share. Okay.
Okay,
Everything will
thank
be
you.
practically implemented. Is their offline training? So you have to go to our office in Hyderabad. This is online only that we are talking about. Yes, everything will be implemented practically. Whatever content that I told you here, that I shown you here, those will be 100% practical, and we'll be implementing them. Lab will be created. If you need any help to create lab or AWS account setup, I'm here. I will be happy to help you if you need anything. What you'll be getting advance bonus on this course. Let me tell you bonus of this course. So I'm implementing, Docker and Kubernetes security component here as well. So you will be getting those things. Where is the PPT for those? How to secure your container images, how you can hack container images, and how you can install spyware in Docker images and share with your people so that you can get access of complete their environment, and how to secure your environment. First of all, we're talking about those things. This is not officially added about this hacking cracking thing. It is not officially added. The reason behind is I'm just doing dry run with this. End of the course, I will be talking about this Docker security and all. We are not declaring anything officially that we will be just going through this Docker security and all. The reason behind this is just kind of dry run for me to deliver training on this. So this will be advanced for you. 2 days, 1 or 2 days session on security on all those things you'll be getting. I missed that PPT. Give me a second.
And we don't have any offline classes for this, only online.
See, you'll have to talk to Malti, my organizer. She will be talking about this offline batches. She might be having. These days, very less people are preferring to go offices. That is the reason. Everybody wants to do things online only. What is the overall duration? This is what I just told. 35 to 40 days, 1 hour per day, we'll be doing it. Yes, 40 days duration, correct.
Any interview preparation with the Docker Kubernetes?
I can tell you about, I can share, interview questions with you. What are interview question you can have? See, these things we'll be talking about. 35 slides we'll be talking about here. SBOM, what exactly this SBOM is, Docker SBOM, and how to use Docker SBOM and all those things. And after that, we will be talking about, this is the one, non-root user numerical ID, how to run your Docker on your host machine with non-root, how to run your Docker daemon with non-root user, and how you will be running your containers with non-root user as well. This is two things. Okay, we'll be discussing about that. Still, our application need root access inside container, right? How to do that? How to manage this user and security by user NS and remap them, right? Those things will be covered for Docker security thing. And here we'll be seeing that hacking Docker containers, how we can hack Docker container, how we can be getting access of remote servers, remote server somewhere my Docker container is running, and that Docker container will be pinging me back, hey, I am running here in this environment, you can access whatever you want. Like that, things will be doing practicals on those things, right? Docker container hacking, how to scan for vulnerable images, right? How to scan vulnerabilities available in our images, Docker images. Those things will be covered here. Backdoor Docker images, correct? So these things, guys, we'll be talking about. Yeah, we'll be installing Trojan in Docker images, and that Trojan will be connecting back to us. Privilege acceleration, how we can do this privilege acceleration if my container is running, and how we can get more access so that we can see few of the running process on host machine. Those things we'll be talking about. Docker breakouts, host security, will be trying to compromise with host machine security. Those things we will be just talking about. So yes, guys, I'm done with this demo session. If you guys are having any question, queries, you can ask me here.